Okay, so thank you, Virgil. Thanks for the flattering introduction. So hi everyone. So I'm Casey. I'm glad most of you have stayed throughout. And today we're going to talk about ArcGIS Pro, how the future mapping is actually happening now. So we've seen some fancy presentations by Virgil in the morning on Insights and NUS Virtual Campus. So we're going to talk about the core products of ArcGIS. It's actually the ArcGIS Desktop suite of products. So let me go through probably the agenda. So first, we're going to give you an overview of ArcGIS Pro, and finally, what you can do with ArcGIS Pro. Yen will be touching on the interesting 3D aspects on how you can actually work with 3D data, and some high-level information on big data, and then some of the top 5 features we would like to let you know and take away so that you can actually get started on ArcGIS Pro. So first, probably let me try to give you an overview of ArcGIS Pro. So ArcGIS Desktop is the key to realizing the advantage of your location awareness. So within ArcGIS Desktop, as you can see on your left, there are actually 2 main products, Unmanned and ArcGIS Pro. So these 2 are the primary desktop applications which GIS professionals work with, and each has their unique capabilities to suit your needs. So what can you actually do with it? So ArcGIS Desktop in general gives you a very rich analytical toolbox and modeling framework. You can model your analysis with geoprocessing tasks. You can build, manage, and connect your geographic information, be it tabular, feature data, and so forth. These are the fundamental tools that you will need. And with that, you can actually go to the next level on the enterprise platform or the ArcGIS Online platform to actually extend all your data, and probably through apps, you can actually serve out this to your users. You can use 3D. We have seen Virtual NUS how they actually use 3D to communicate a compelling message to deliver their information to users on mobile apps as well. So technologically ahead of everything else, ArcGIS Pro provides you the 2D and 3D mapping capability. So you can think of ArcGIS Pro as a big step forward. It advances visualization, analytics, image processing, data management, and integration, and more. So under the hood is actually a 64-bit application. It will actually take advantage of the cores, the hardware, the resources that your workstation has. Well, in ArcMap, you remember when you run a tool, you need to wait. While in ArcGIS Pro, you can actually run the geoprocessing tool, continue to do your work in ArcGIS Pro, and while wait for the tool to finish running, you can actually continue your task. So that's the benefit of the 64-bit multi-threaded application. So of course, in ArcGIS Pro, we actually tightly coupled the enterprise, the platform, I would say, be it ArcGIS Online or Enterprise. So you can actually search data in your enterprise platform. You can drag and drop your data into ArcGIS Pro. You can actually start to work with your enterprise data. So we have actually really relooked at the architecture to make it to be a tightly coupled platform. More importantly, you can have 2D and 3D on the same application. So on the right is actually an example of the ArcGIS Pro project. So I want to tell you that we are actually bringing the best of all the ArcGIS desktop applications you might be using now: ArcMap, ArcCatalog, ArcGlobe, ArcScene, or even City Engine rules. You can actually bring it. We have actually fused them up together. So on the right here is actually ArcGIS Pro project example. So on the right is actually a scene view, sorry. At the bottom, actually a globe view, and at the top is actually a map view. So you can actually combine the scene, globe, ArcScene, ArcGlobe documents into a single document. More importantly, it contains the City Engine runtime to help you leverage the realistic procedural rules that you have designed, and you are able to bring it into ArcGIS Pro for visualization. So we expect the professional workstations to be not only just a single monitor workstation, it should be a multi-monitor or video wall configuration. So ArcGIS Pro is really supporting that workflow. We think this is a great way to merge all your applications. So when you start to work with Pro, I think you actually find some things that's really nice about that. So what can you do with Pro? So rather than talking about it, let me try to show you an overview of the application. So let me start off by using ArcMap. Yes, so I hope this is familiar to you. It's your ArcMap environment. So I have here is some of the planning areas of Singapore. So I have a use case or objectives here. So I want to identify where are the potential areas where I can actually have a new store. So very simple to do that. I need some of my current store locations, my competitor stores in orange. So to do that, I actually configure the geoprocessing model. Remember the geoprocessing framework that we support. You can actually churn all your models, your steps together, make it repeatable. You can actually share it out to your users as well. More importantly, this is the knowledge management, the knowledge process, analysis process of your organization. You can actually configure that as well. So this is the model that I have actually configured. So I've also made it as a geoprocessing tool. So users can come in and consume these tools, for example, just by running some analysis. So plainly speaking, I've actually configured this tool just to be 200 meters within my competitor. So of course, this is just a very plain example. We might actually include more of these parameters that you're interested in into the geoprocessing model. So the tool returns me some of the yellow dots, which are potential areas where my competitors are, but I'm not at this area. So probably I want to drill down into these areas and actually have some further analysis, or rather I can have layout view to actually support printing, so that my users can print it out and send to my users and for my discussion purposes. So that is actually possible. Well, if you're wondering if I need to bring my model or my Python scripts into my ArcGIS Pro, so we have actually thought of that. So there is an analyze tools for Pro. There's a geoprocessing tool. If you have current models, toolboxes, or Python scripts which you need to bring into Pro, and you're wondering if it'll work, you can actually use this tool and analyze. It'll give you an output text file, and it will tell you if it's compatible with ArcGIS Pro. Okay, so enough of ArcMap now. So let me switch over to ArcGIS Pro. So this is so this is the UI of the ArcGIS Pro. You can see that it's the modern interface, the ribbon-like interface, similar to your Microsoft application. So now we actually introduce the concept of core tabs. So at the top, you can see there's map, insert, analysis, and so forth. These are the core tabs which users will actually work with. So first and foremost, let me try to bring in the map document earlier on. So I've actually made things simple for the users. Go to my folder, select my particular MXD file, which I have earlier on. So let it read for my MXD file. You might have ArcScene or ArcGlobe documents, it works the same. So just select it. So what does the tool do? It allows you to import the ArcMap, scene, or globe document. Your data frames, layout, symbology are all reserved. So if you remember earlier on, I have some feature layers, polygons, and my symbology, and also I have a layout view. So all of these are actually being converted into the ArcGIS Pro project, as also there is some of the base maps and features layers as well. So this will actually get imported into the Pro package. I think this is a very good way to help users to get started importing everything into the Pro project. You might notice a few things. For example, now in the Arc catalog, there are more. It's a project-based applications. Users can actually, you can have multiple maps, multiple layouts within the project. You can also go to the portal to search for some of the content from your portal or ArcGIS Online. You can actually do that. Give me a moment, sorry. So once you actually bring in the document to the ArcGIS Pro project, you can actually see the layers, the symbology, the base map are all preserved. So it's very quickly, it helps you to bring in all the relevant layers and symbologies maintained. That's more important. So you can actually browse to the portal for all of the data which you have. It could be ArcGIS Online or portal. As long as it's shared with you, you can actually visualize that information. More importantly, the layout is retained. You can use these map layouts. More importantly, the Pro project allows you to have multiple layouts, multiple maps, compared to ArcMap, where you can actually have a single layout or a single map. Also, we introduced the concept of contextual tabs, if you notice on the top. So they are actually, once you click on the planning area, you can actually see their contextual tabs, data, labeling, or appearance. More importantly, we built an engine within ArcGIS Pro. It knows that you are clicking on a point or polygon layer. So as you click on point layer, you can actually know that the options for symbology actually changes. You have an additional option of heat map. So that's the engine, that's the smart that we built into ArcGIS Pro. Of course, now edit is actually into a core tab, so there's no particular action required to start an edit session. So all of the create your attributes or your templates are actually within the edit core tab now. Moving on, analysis is also now a core tab. You have your familiar Python window, your model builder, your geoprocessing tools is still within the familiar ribbon-like interface. You can start to actually remove or add tools to your top 5 favorites. For example, on the right you see there are 5 favorite tools which you actually access the most often. So now you can actually remove and add your own particular favorite tools. Now we introduce the concept of analysis gallery as well. So if you're not content with just 5 favorite tools, you can add more geoprocessing tools into what we call analysis gallery. So with that, you can add all the tools, save it into ArcGIS Pro project, share it out to your users. They will actually come here and look for those tools which you or your organization commonly use. You can actually configure pop-up. Previously, you need to publish a feature service and add it to a web map. You need to configure it with multiple steps. Now we actually streamline the workflow to allow you to actually be able to configure a web map within ArcGIS Pro. So it actually helps to streamline your workflow. You can prepare the symbology, attributes, pop-up, everything, and publish it out, compared to ArcMap where you have multiple steps to do so. So that was just a very high level of the UI of the ArcGIS Pro. Now probably I'll give you a high level recap of what I've shown earlier on. So you have seen the analysis core tab. Most of the geoprocessing tools are there, and you can add your favorite tools or remove your favorite tools. Model builder, your familiar model builder is still there. Python, in ArcGIS Pro we are on Python 3.x, so that's something new compared to ArcMap. Network analysis is now built in as well. More importantly, the analysis tools for ArcGIS Pro, remember you can help you to analyze whether your scripts or models are actually compatible. Now editing, you can view and edit your 2D and 3D side by side. You can actually, editing is active when you click on the core tab. You have no need to perform a specific action to start an editing session. You have your, also we introduced the concept of group templates. If you often create features and you need to join them up together, so you can actually, if your features are coincident, you require them to be coincident, you can actually group them up together and it can be created at the same time. So this is something new in ArcGIS Pro called group templates. Your edit in GeoDatabase map topology is still there, so this is still your familiar environment. So ArcGIS Pro really takes care of your mapping and visualization needs because of the 64-bit architecture. It's more responsive and draws or renders the features quickly compared to your ArcMap application. You can have multiple layouts. This is good when you need to work with multiple map printings, so you can have multiple layouts within that. We also introduced the concept of data-driven pages. If you remember in ArcMap you have data-driven pages. Now in ArcGIS Pro, it is actually map series. And also a cool function is animations. You can actually tell a story with your 2D and 3D content. You can have fly-through into a building, for example, or a particular area. So this is possible with animation as well. And you can export it as a video, more importantly. sharing of static and dynamic content is still there. You can share this information with your colleague or public. So you actually configure your pop-up, you build your web map, and then share this information out. Your layer packages, map packages still exist. Something interesting is the task. So task helps you to actually take any command or processes in ArcGIS Pro. You can actually create a pre-configured workflow for users to step through. Well, Yan will be sharing more on this. So this is good when you need to teach new staff or save some time on some of the common operations. If you have, for example, you have new staff coming and go into different positions, you might actually consider to have a task file to guide your users step by step. Well, now I'm going to pass over to Yan, who will be touching on the 3D aspects.
Thank you, Casey. Nowadays, the world becomes more complex, and the need to track the asset is increasing not only on 2D, but also on 3D plane. So working with 3D opens a new way of visualization, inspection of pattern, and analysis. ArcGIS Pro now brings all of that to the table. With ArcGIS Pro, we can create both 2D and 3D maps. It increases the capability of what we really can do with ArcGIS. ArcGIS Pro has the ability to create the basic 3D map without the need of an extension in the days of ArcMap or ArcCatalog. Within ArcGIS Pro, we have global scene, local scene, and map. So global scene is what's similar to Google Earth, where you need to see the Earth curvature, whereas in local scene, you are looking at smaller area, and the curvature of the Earth is not a factor. All the scenes are in 3D, map is in 2D. So to navigate around the scene in ArcGIS Pro, we can use the Explore tool. The Explore tool is the default mouse navigation and feature identification tool for both maps and scenes. It incorporates most 2D and 3D navigation functionality and can be coupled with keyboard shortcuts. So there is on-screen navigator can also be used to pan, zoom, rotate, and tilt the view. Especially in ArcGIS Pro, we can create bookmarks, and these bookmarks actually can be used to make animation. So this animation can be exported to videos in different formats. When you create a 3D map within ArcGIS Pro, there are several elevations you need to be concerned about. You need to define a ground level elevation. The ground elevation provides a baseline for all of your 3D data. You can add multiple elevation services, shade services, or use these services in 3D analysis. There are many types of data that a scene can support. We can support 3D layers, 2D layers, KML layers, and much more. So for 3D layers, we can support multi-batch feature layers, 3D point, line, polygon feature layers, extruded 2D feature layer, scene layers. For 2D layers, as we know, we can support CSV, text file, traditional 2D point, and imagery. So to apply the symbol in 3D, there are many ways that we can do that. We can use the 3D models to apply the symbology, or we can texture the 3D models with images. More importantly, you can use the procedure rule package that is developed in CT Engine to apply the symbology in ArcGIS Pro seamlessly. Now I'm going to demo how I could transform a Sentosa from 2D to 3D with just simple tasks. So as you can see here, the local scene is the map that I create in 3D, whereas I can tilt and move around. On the right hand side, there is a 2D which is flat, which I cannot really orbit it. So now let me show you how I can generate the 3D map from just the 2D polygons. So I have set up a task here. which is a feature to 3D by attribute. So you just need to choose your 2D features as the input, and you specify the height of your buildings. So this is my 2D attribute. I just need to give a name to the feature class. And I just run. So once I run the tool, it will create a 3D polygon here. So in the elevation, I choose to show it on the ground. Next, I'm going to show how to change this symbology. So as you see now, it is just green. So now I'm going to change the symbology using the city engine rule. I go to the properties and choose the procedure rule field. And I choose my rule. So in this rule, we'll define what is the height, a particular height that it will run. So once the rule has been run, it will texture your building based on the height that's specified in the rule. So next, I have a tree here, which is a point. So I'm going to change the symbology of this point here. So I click on the symbology and go to the gallery, choose the on style, and you just type on the trees. So it will show the list of 3D trees which is available in ArcGIS Pro. So as you see, just simple step that you can create the beautiful 3D map. So next, I'm going to show you another demo, which is the 3D routing. So let me open the scene for the 3D routing. So for this demo, I have a 3D footprint of the floor. So basically, I have the 3 floor here, and there a staircase. So now I'm going to use the task that I previously configured. So when I run my task, I just need to specify my start point and end point, like this. And when I run the task, it will show me what is the route that I can go from point A to point P. So once the task finished, it will show on the map the routing. So actually, you have to follow this green route to go to this staircase and going down further. So that is for the 3D routing. Now I will pass to my colleague for the working with big data.
Yep, so thank you, Yan. That's an exciting demo on 3D indoor routing. I hope most of you are interested. So next, I'm going to talk on some of the working with big data. So how you can actually work with big data. So here is a very simple but powerful deployment of ArcGIS Pro. So you can actually make use of distributed computing capabilities with geoanalytics. Use the computing power of multiple machines. So you attach your data sets into the ArcGIS Enterprise platform. You run this analysis through the UI of the ArcGIS Pro. The tools are actually rewritten to make use of the distributed computing capabilities. You can actually still do the normal hotspots, create space-time cube, calculate densities. These are tools still available. You make use of the computing power of your machines and run this analysis on the huge data sets. So some of the top 5 features from us. So In ArcGIS Pro 2.2, we actually included support for Autodesk BIM software Revit as we added to the list of data sources. So BIM is actually an intelligent 3D model-based process that gives AEC's communities the insights and tools to plan, design their buildings. So now Revit models can actually be enriched with geographical analysis and visualizations in ArcGIS Pro. So in Pro, we also allowed the function of exploratory analysis, so you can actually have quick investigations by interactively creating graphics and analysis on the fly. For example, some of the line of sight or a view dome, view shade analysis. We can actually support arcade expression, so you can actually write simple scripts to control how your labeling occurs. This is possible, and scripts are portable. It is actually available through the entire ArcGIS platform. So you can take maps offline within ArcGIS Pro now. If users need to go disconnected environment, they can actually take these maps offline, provided that the data is actually synchronization is actually enabled on the data, and you can actually support exporting tiles if you are talking about tile layers. So you also support stream layers. It's a new layer data type, which actually displays real-time streaming data. So the difference is that stream layers actively listen to the stream of data through a broadcast by the stream service compared to the normal feature layer. And also you can actually symbolize the current observations or the previous observation differently, so you can have better visualizations.
So the solution means for today, we're using ArcGIS Pro 2.2 and ArcGIS Online. For the demo in routing, I'm using network analysis in ArcGIS Pro. For the data source that we have been using in the presentation is from OpenStreetMap and datagov.s3. Here are the resources links that are free for your further reading. We have show here the link for what's new in ArcGIS Pro and the tutorial that you can start with. If you want to have more in-depth training, we do provide the training for ArcGIS Pro which is for beginner and intermediate. You can visit our website esrisingapore.com.sg/training.